Okay, Wildcats. Today we're looking at Tuesday, December 4th, standard form to vertex form on page 38. If you would, update your table of contents. All right, now your table of contents is updated. Let's take a look at your notes. All right, standard form to vertex form on page 38. Steps to transform standard form to vertex form. Step 1, factor so the coefficient of x squared is 1. Step 2, set up to complete the square. Step 3, add b divided by 2 squared. Because b divided by 2 squared is multiplied by the a value, you must subtract a times b divided by 2 squared. Step 4, factor. Step 5, simplify. All right, if you would, update your notes. All right, now your notes are updated. Let's take a look at the examples. All right, example 1. Transform the quadratic function from standard form to vertex form. Identify its vertex. All right, so step 1, it says factor so the coefficient of x squared is 1. So that's y equals 1. And then when you factor a 1 out from everything, it's still just that. Okay. Now it says set up to complete the square. So you only want to factor from the first two terms, okay, in this case. All right. Now we're going to add b divided by 2. Now this is a, this is b, this is c. Okay. So we're going to add b, which is 24, divided by 2, squared. We're going to go ahead and close the parentheses for that. And we're going to put the plus 145 on the outside. Okay. Now, if you added it, you also have to subtract. Okay. So we're going to subtract 24 divided by 2 squared. Okay. Now we have y equals 1 parentheses 1x squared plus 24x plus 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 squared is 144. So plus 145 minus 144. So notice we've added it, but we subtracted it. So technically we haven't changed the equation. Okay. So now we have y equals 1. Now we're going to factor. Well, factoring this is easy because we already know the factors. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. 12 times 12 is 144. So our factors are 1x plus 12 times 1x plus 12. And then 145 minus 144 is plus 1. Now to simplify, well, this is just x plus 12 squared. So that's y equals 1, parentheses 1x plus 12 squared plus 1. We are now in vertex form. And so the last step is it says identify the vertex. Well, the vertex is minus h plus k. So the vertex in this case is, so h equals negative 12 and k equals 1. So the vertex is negative 12 comma 1. Okay, so now let's take a look at example 2. All right, so this is 1. So in essence, we're only going to factor a 1 from the first two terms. So then that's f of x equals 1 parentheses 1x squared plus 10x. We're setting up for completing the square, so we're going to put the minus 13 on the outside of the parentheses. Okay? So now we do plus the b value, 10 divided by 2 squared. But if you added it, you have to come out here and subtract it. So subtract 10 divided by 2 squared. this b divided by 2 squared is completing the square part. So then it's f of x equals 1, parentheses 1x squared plus 10x plus 10 divided by 2 is 5, 5 squared is 25, and then minus 13 minus 25. So now we've completed the square. And by complete square, what we mean is we've now created this so you can factor it, which is 1x plus 5 times 1x plus 5. And then minus 13 minus 25 is minus 38. Now, to get the factor, it's real simple. The factor came from here, 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And that we know 5 plus 5 is 10, 5 times 5 is 25. So now this is f of x equals 1, parentheses 1x plus 5 squared minus 38. Okay, we now have that in vertex form. Now we know that this is minus h plus k, so h equals negative 5 and k equals negative 38. So our vertex is negative 5 comma negative 38, close parentheses. All right, example 3. Now, I made example 1 and 2 straightforward with you just factored a 1. But here you can see in example 3 and 4, you can actually factor out something other than 1. In this case, we can factor out a 2 from the first two terms. So that's h of x equals, we factor out a 2, which leaves 1x squared minus 4x. We leave space for completing the square and put the plus 3 on the outside of the parentheses. Now, we take the b value divided by 2, so plus negative 4 divided by 2 squared. But if you add it, you have to come out here and subtract it. But it's not just subtracting that, because you have to multiply it by 2. So we're actually subtracting 2 times negative 4 divided by 2 squared. Now in the previous problems, technically you were multiplying this by 1 and this by 1, but it didn't matter because the 1 was on the outside, but the 1 didn't matter. Now that there's a 2, the 2 matters, so you have to multiply it by the 2. So then this is h of x equals 2, parentheses 1x squared minus 4x, and then plus negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is plus 4. So plus 3 times minus 2 times 4. So then you have h of x equals 2, parentheses 1x. We know the factor is minus 2, so 1x minus 2 and 1x minus 2. And then 3 minus 8 is a negative 5. And again, to check, negative 2 and negative 2 combined to be negative 4, and negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. So now we have h of x equals 2, parentheses 1x minus 2 squared minus 5. So the vertex, real simple, it's, remember, minus h plus k, so h is 2 and k is negative 5. So your vertex is 2 comma negative 5. All right, example 4. So here we can factor out a 3. So then that's y equals 3, which leaves 1x squared minus 4x. And again, we're only factoring out from the first two terms. And then the minus 4 we leave on the outside. Now, to complete the square, we take the b value, so plus negative 4 divided by 2. and squared. But if you add it, you have to subtract it out here. But remember, don't forget to multiply by 3. So 3 times negative 4 divided by 2 squared. All right? Now, y equals 3, parentheses 1x squared minus 4x. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is a plus 4. And then minus 4 minus 3 times 4. And if that seems a little blurry, it's because it is. So then y equals 3, parentheses 1x squared. Oh, no. Now we factor, sorry. So we know the factors because negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So 1x minus 2, 1x minus 2, minus, that's a 4 minus 12 is minus 16. So y equals 3, parentheses 1x minus 2 squared minus 16. So for the vertex, that's minus 8. So h is 2, k is negative 16. So your vertex is 2, comma, negative 16. All right, so with that, go and start on the assignment and have a wonderful Wildcat day.